Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I am joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and we are here to talk about the Ballon d'Or. It is Ballon d'Or season, Ballon d'Or night. We're going to talk about the winners and more specifically the Argentine players, Lautaro Martinez, Emiliano Martinez, Scaloni, and even Garnacho. We're going to talk all about that, as well as the form of some of the players of the Argentina national team. But as always, first things first, Osvaldo, how are you? How is everything?
I'm doing well, Roy. So many things to talk about these awards. I'm so happy Di Martinez won it again, one more time. So it's very exciting for sure. Uh, but Lautaro Martinez in the seventh position, and we're also gonna talk about that. We were talking actually a couple of weeks ago about how we thought Lautaro could be in that top three easily, and we didn't see him even in the top five.
He should have been in the top three, in my opinion. He would have been a very worthy winner, and congratulations right off the bat. Congratulations to Rodri. Well deserved, of course. A very, very important player for both Spain and Manchester City. But we're going to talk about the Argentina players, as you said. We're going to talk about Lautaro. As always, everybody, by the way, let us know down below where you're watching us from. We tend to get from all around the world, so thank you very much. We have Hemlock Bar here. Hello, Hemlock Bar. Thank you for joining us. Now, I mentioned Rodri, he won the Ballon d'Or. That's fine. We're going to talk about one player in particular up first, and that is Emiliano Martinez. And Emiliano Martinez, he won the Yachine Trophy for the best goalkeeper in the world, and he was also ranked number 18 in the Ballon d'Or voting. Initial thoughts, Osvaldo, well deserved, I would like to think.
Oh, for sure. He did a great Copa America, being a key player in Argentina once again in another important tournament. And with Aston Villa, it's insane how important he is for the team. I remember a couple of matches he didn't play. Now I don't remember why he didn't end up playing. It was suspension, a little injury, or what. And it's incredible how a whole team can suffer just the absence of a player, of a goalkeeper as Emiliano Martinez. With Aston Villa, they made him. He was able to make the team go into Champions League again, a big team as Aston Villa, because we're talking about a club with a lot of history. If I'm not mistaken, they have like two Champions League. Uh, and with Argentina, we all saw what he did in the penalties against Ecuador and in some important moments. So once again, of course, well deserved.
Oh, very, very well deserved. The penalty shootout save versus Ecuador, those two big saves in the quarterfinals, being named the best goalkeeper of the Copa America, winning the Copa America, of course. And then his season, as you mentioned, with Aston Villa, bringing them up to the Champions League. I think they have two wins out of two, if I'm not mistaken, or three out of three. I know they're undefeated in the Champions League this season, and his saves have been massive, whether it's for Argentina or Aston Villa and very well deserved. He has made history, by the way. Emiliano Martinez becomes the first goalkeeper in history to win back-to-back best goalkeeper awards. So the first goalkeeper ever to win two Yachine trophies, which is incredible to think. In history, he's done that. So congratulations to him. Ranked number 18 overall, the only goalkeeper ranked essentially in the top 30. I think that's fair to say, right? I don't see anyone ranked higher than him when it comes to goalkeepers. Now, if we take a look at the chat, let's see where everybody is from. Everyone's watching us from BC. Welcome, BC, as always. Much love to you. Thank you for joining. Nani, all the way from Orlando, Florida. Thank you so much, Nani K, for joining. Janet, hello, hello. Lautaro was robbed. Yes, he was. End of discussion. That is it. Thank you for joining, Janet. And of course, very, very happy for Dibu. I'm kind of gonna throw this a little bit out there. His legacy, Emiliano Martinez, his legacy. I'm talking specifically with the Argentina national team. He has to be up there, in my opinion. I would think easily in the top three best goalkeepers ever for Argentina. I don't think that's shocking to say, Osvaldo. I mean, I can't think of anyone that could beat him in the top three or kick him out of the top
No,
three.
no, of course. I mean, you can talk about Filiol, but what Diego Martinez have done for the national team and keeps doing it because hopefully we'll still see him in the next couple of good tournaments for Argentina. Um, and to these players, I think that we're also gonna even evaluate them like even more when they retire after a couple of years. That's what happens with all the legends. You know, they become legends when they retire after a couple of years. That people can think about all those moments that Diego Martinez gave us, and we're already doing it that now. So imagine what we're gonna think about Diego in 10 years from now.
That's very true. That's a very good point. We always talk about players and how much better they were after they retire. But as you mentioned, we talk about Debo in every single video after every single match, and he is still playing, and still the best goalkeeper in the world, both for us and I guess statistically or literally the best goalkeeper in the world. Nani, well deserved Debo, undisputed best. There you are. There you are. Now, let's talk about the actual winner, which is Rodri. Congratulations to him, as we mentioned, well deserved for the first time in what is it, 2 decades or a decade and a half or whatever it was. No Lionel Messi, no Cristiano Ronaldo, either of them in the final list. Um, Argentina's biggest hope to win this was Lautaro Martinez, a tremendous season, over 30 goals with Inter, one Serie A, one the Copa America with Argentina, best player of the Copa America, or top scorer of the Copa America, excuse me. Ranked 7th overall, Lautaro Martinez. I don't know. This does not sit well with me, Osvaldo, and everybody else in the chat. Let us know, but not number 7.
No, I totally agree with you, Roy. I think that in a top three with Rodri, Vinicius, Lautaro Martinez had to be in that top three. Yes, there's a player like Carvajal who won the Champions League and the the Europa League, the Eurocopa, the Euros. Sorry, it was. But the thing is that Lautaro was very a determinant player in Inter, even in Argentina. Yes, in Argentina throughout the Copa America, he really wasn't much of a starter for Argentina, but he scored in the final. You were saying, for example, he scored 35 goals, 8 assists. He won the Serie A, he won the Italian Super Cup, he won the Copa America. He was the golden boot of the Serie A by far because he scored many more goals than his competitors. He was the Serie A most valuable player and the Copa America golden boot. So still, yeah, I don't know how you can argue really against that.
I don't know either. To be very honest with you, I don't know how you can argue with that. People can say Rodri, and I'll accept Rodri. If it's between Rodri and Lautaro, I'm okay with that. But if we look at the top 10, you had Harry Kane at number 10, you had Toni Kroos at number 9, Lamine Yamal at number 8, Lautaro at 7, but then you have Kylian Mbappe at 6. And if we want to compare seasons, just overall effect, Lautaro won the league with Inter, Mbappe with PSG. But if it comes down to the Euros and the Copa America, Mbappe had a horrible Euros with France. Lautaro was massive for Argentina. So just that, if we're looking at it that way, Lautaro has to be higher. It's not like Mbappe had a great Champions League either. Both of them very, very mediocre. How Mbappe ends up over Lautaro, I don't know, to be very honest with you. I don't get that part. And it's disappointing.
No, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah,
And
I mean, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no. Then I was gonna say, if you get to number 5, Haaland, goal scoring machine. Carvajal at 4, Jude Bellingham at 3. For me, that is a joke. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm not behind this Jude Bellingham hype machine. Same for Vinicius, Rodri, well deserved. But some of those names, I don't know how they're ahead of Lautaro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that Jude Bellingham was a very like a great player in the Euros with England and making them reach the final in some key moments in those last minutes of certain games. Uh, but I think that there might be a certain idea, maybe I'm assuming based on this ranking that the Euros are better than the Copa America or something like that. Because if not, it's difficult to explain. I also saw some comments about saying, okay, but Syria is not a huge tournament. First of all, it is. You can easily compare it to the Premier League, to La Liga. But why then a player like Mbappe, who plays in the Ligue 1, which in my opinion is, I think Serie A is better than the Liga, gets ahead of Lautaro Martinez. And when Lautaro Martinez played for his country way better than Mbappe that year. So yeah, a couple of things that are weird. Again, I think that this year compared to others, you had some players that could win it because Vinicius did a good Champions League. Rodri also like had a good Premier League and a great tournament with Spain in the Euros. Carvajal even like you have players that were there, but seeing Lautaro in the seventh position for me it's unfair.
No, completely unfair. And I guarantee you, and I'm going to get to the comments in just a second, but I guarantee you, if Lautaro did what he did with Real Madrid, he would be the Ballon d'Or winner right now. It's all about the PR. I'm going to bring this up. Janet saying the Papa Perez PR machine. It's really that. It absolutely is that. Varun, hello. Thank you for joining us, my friend. What did Mbappe do to deserve a position over Lautaro? Honestly, at this point, I just think playing with Madrid, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Nani, kind of echoing your thoughts as well. Osvaldo, Nani saying, I think if Lautaro played in La Liga or the Premier League with what he achieved for club and country, he would have had more PR to win it. And Mbappe saying Mbappe's overrated in many ways. And, it truly appears to be that way. We've always kind of, or at least I've always kind of, I've joked around when Messi doesn't win the Ballon d'Or. I always say, Ballon d'Or is not important. And then when Messi wins it, I joke around and say that it is important. But more than anything, just looking at this list right now, and you look at some of the players that are on this list, looking at this top 10, I don't get the voting anymore. I truly don't. And the disrespect, in my opinion, towards South American players is massive. Absolutely
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah. On the other hand, it's also true to say that this is a trophy that Lionel Messi won it a lot of times.
Yeah.
And well, Vinicius was second. I was actually reading that Vinicius had a whole party planned. He invited like 20 friends to go to the Ballon d'Or ceremony because he thought he was gonna win it. Then at the end, he didn't travel, and I'm guessing his friends also didn't travel. Um, but I don't know. It's weird too because the ones that vote, correct me if I'm wrong, Roy, but are the journalists, captains, coaches. It's basically players, coaches, and journalists, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So yeah, I understand the PR and everything, but at the end of the day, it's the coaches, the players, the journalists. Uh, so yeah, it's at least weird. These positions, this ranking.
No, it for sure is. It absolutely is. And I'm not the biggest fan of the voting in and of itself. And look, at the end of the day, it's a trophy to recognize individual talent. There are some great players throughout the years that never got the chance to win it for different reasons. But if Lautaro didn't win it this year, then I don't see him, ever winning it. Not for anything, but just the season he had is very, very difficult to replicate. And having him trying to do that once more, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very difficult.
What else he has to do? I forgot about that. So if the Copa America was the top scorer,
Top scorer of
was
the
he?
Copa America, yeah.
Not even starting, and he scored the goal in the final. And with Inter using the number 10 and wearing the captain
Yeah.
armband, he led Inter to win a Serie A from the beginning to the end. Yes, in the Champions League, which is the club's most important tournament, Inter didn't do that well. Uh, but I
But
mean,
neither did Mbappe.
Rodri, yeah. And I mean, Rodri and Manchester City didn't even get it, to the final. So yeah. There's, as you said, if Lautaro didn't win it this time, I don't know what else he had to do to win it. Probably, as someone was saying, go to Real Madrid. I don't know.
It could be that. I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of respect, some disrespect towards the Italian league or what. I don't know. I truly don't know anymore. But if he didn't win it this year, again, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that next year, to win it next year. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. And as always, everybody, if you're new, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. Taking a look at the comments here. Alfredo Reyes saying Lautaro Martinez deserved the top three. He definitely did. Varun, only thing Mbappe has over Lautaro is offside. I believe Mbappe was caught offside, what was it, 8 times versus Barcelona in the Clásico? Quite a
Yeah.
big number. Let's see, mixed memorabilia. I don't need to repeat the accolades. You already mentioned about Lautaro. In that single season of consideration, Lautaro deserved to win it. That's a fact. David, much love, my friend, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for the support, as always. Much love from Western Sydney, Australia. God bless you. God bless you, my friend. BC saying how, Lautaro hasn't had a 30-plus goal season. I mean, he's had 35. He had 35 goals last season in total. So that's pretty good. That is very, very good. John, welcome, John, all the way from Malaysia. The perspective of those voting in this award, the best player in the world plays in Europe. So a player winning the Euro is being put on a higher pedestal than the Copa America. That's a valid point, right? Europe is kind of always seen as bigger than South America, Euros and Copa America, at least in the eyes of the Europeans, at least in their eyes. And Nani K, the debate should have been between Lautaro and Rodri with what they achieved with their club and country. I'm okay with that. If Rodri was one, Lautaro was two, or Lautaro was one, Rodri was two, I'm okay. But my problem is having Lautaro so high up at number 7. Now, continuing on, someone else who was at the ceremony did not win, and that is the youngster, Alejandro Garnacho, ranked 6th, tied in 6th place for the Copa Trophy. The best under-21 player and this year was won by Lamine Yamal. Totally deserved, of course. Still not too bad for Garnacho, Osvaldo.
No, I agree. I think that it's a well-deserved 6th place. He didn't have a great year. I mean, he's been starting with Manchester United and everything, but the truth is that he haven't shown yet all his potential, and we hope he starts to do it, especially with Argentina. Maybe trying to see him a little bit more. So yeah, Lamine Yamal for sure he deserves it with that goal in the final of the Euros. Well, now with Barcelona, everything he's doing. So I think it's a well-deserved 6th position for Garnacho.
No, well deserved. Absolutely, good. Well, deserved for Garnacho to just being there. Last season with Manchester United, I believe he scored it was maybe 10 goals or so. He reached, I know, at least 10 goals. With Argentina, won the Copa America. Obviously, a bench player, only took part in one match, which was versus Peru. Funny enough, the match that we were at, Osvaldo. So having him at 6, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I think he's still young, he's still learning, he's still growing, still getting better, and hopefully, who knows? Maybe one day we could see him higher up or high up in the Ballon d'Or nominees or list of
Yeah.
nominees.
Do you have by any chance the ranking there?
I
The
do, yes, I do. So the top 10. So Lamine Yamal, obviously number 1, Spain and Barcelona. Number 2 was Arda Güler of Turkey and Real Madrid. Number 3, Kobe Mainoo of England,
yeah.
Manchester United. Number 4, Savinho, Brazil, Manchester City. Number 5, Pau Cubarsí, Spain and Barcelona. 6, João Neves, Portugal and PSG. And then 6 as well is Garnacho, so they're tied. And then 8, 9, and 10 are all tied. Warren Emery of France and PSG, Mathystel of France and Bayern, and Karim Konate of the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, and Red Bull Salzburg. So those are the players that rounded up that made the top 10 for the Copa Trophy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this year was Lamine Yamal, 2023 Jude Bellingham, in 2022 Gavi, 2021 Pedri. It's 3 Spanish players in the last 4 years.
Yeah, 3 very good Spanish players, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah.
3 very, very good Spaniards, and all deserved winners, of course.
Oh,
Especially
of
Lamine
course, of
Yamal,
course.
17 years old to do what he did at the Euros. Even at the Euros, he was 16 up until I believe the final was the only match where he was 17 years old, and that's crazy. That really, really is
Wow.
crazy. But no, well deserved, well
Yeah,
deserved.
these trophies associated to the Ballon d'Or, the Copa trophy, I think they're here since 2018, and an Argentinian player haven't won it
Yeah,
yet.
that's
Uh, we
that's
haven't.
the only trophy I think that an Argentine hasn't won yet. And we've won Coach of the
Yeah,
Year with Scaloni, obviously Messi, the Ballon d'Or, and Dibu, Emiliano Martinez with the Yachine Trophy for best goalkeeper. But that's the only one so far. Yeah, but I guarantee you, if this trophy was around in the '90s and early 2000s, Argentina could have had several players in the top 10 easily, easily. But the
yeah,
last couple of years, I don't know. It's been
yeah,
Spaniards.
yeah. And I think that currently we don't have a maybe a top one contender, but I think that we have easily 4 or 5 players that can get into a top 20, top 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Garnacho, Nico Paz. Nico Paz is still very young. He can still make it, I guess, next year.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know.
Sule, Matias Sule is not too bad. You want to throw in Echeverri as well? I know someone's going to mention him.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
mention Claudio Echeverri.
So it's not again. I don't think we. Well, maybe it appears, but we don't have a Messi. But we have a couple of really good players for the future, and we will always talk about that. But yeah, maybe we don't have a top one. You know.
Of course, no, for sure, for sure. And you know what? Since we're kind of on the topic of Garnacho, Eric Ten Hag, no longer coach of Manchester United, he appeared to love Garnacho. Garnacho was and is a starter for Manchester United. If they do get a new coach, well, when they get a new coach, excuse me, depending on how things go, would you like to see Garnacho maybe leave United, maybe go to Spain, play with Madrid, which is his favorite club? Or would you like to see him stay at United? He's still young, obviously.
Yeah. I would like to see him leave. We'll see which coach comes to Manchester United. Today I saw a comment about, well, Simeone is not doing great with Atletico Madrid, and I saw a comment of, who knows, maybe Simeone ends up in Manchester United. I don't see it, but if that happens, I would like to see Garnacho with another Argentina. Um, we'll see, because Garnacho is receiving a lot of criticism for his last couple of games with Manchester United. He's not really playing that well. Um, and well, yeah, Ten Hag would always have him start, play most of the game, even when he was not playing that well. The match that he played that day, he didn't do a good job at all, and Rashford came off, and not him. So we'll see, and I guess he will have um, to maintain his, or to improve his level a little bit. And something else I think that he has to work on is when it comes to helping defensively. Because if you compare it to a player like Nico Gonzalez, who can also play as a left winger in Argentina, the main difference, in my opinion, why Scaloni decides to go with Nico Gonzalez instead of Garnacho is how Nico Gonzalez can be a really good defender when it's needed, and Garnacho really struggles with that.
Yeah, no, 1,000% I agree. Of course, Garnacho is younger than Nicolas Gonzalez, but Nicolas Gonzalez has always had that work rate, that tracking back and helping defend. Garnacho's improved a little bit, but still, he still has a long way to go to reach Nicolas Gonzalez's level for Argentina, at least when it comes to tracking back and defending. And it's funny because I watched that Manchester United game over the weekend versus West Ham, and he didn't particularly play a good match, but he still hit the crossbar and he had an effort that he still almost scored or came close. So despite playing a bad match, he could have had 2 goals to his name. He still has to work on his finishing, his tracking back. He's still very young and he is improving, of course. But depending on how things go, I would maybe like to see him leave United, maybe go elsewhere. I don't know where. Maybe Spain might be better suited for him, but not to say he's not suited for the Premier League. But maybe playing elsewhere could be better for him, but you never know. It depends on the coach that he gets. Uh, you mentioned Simeone. I don't know. I think that's going to be a little bit difficult. Simeone coaching Manchester United, especially if ever him and Beckham meet again. I know they're okay now. I've seen some pictures, but after the '98 World Cup, having Simeone coach at Old Trafford, that would be fun. That would certainly be certainly be something.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Let's take a look at the comments here, see what everyone is talking about. Janet saying Lamin deserved it. Garnacho deserved top 10. Fully agree with this. Um, Ismail, welcome Ismail, saying Lautaro should be in the top five, certainly, or at least top three, of course. Um, Alfredo, welcome Alfredo, saying Lautaro literally deserved top three. Lautaro, Rodri, and Carvajal. Amado, welcome Amado, saying Garnacho makes good movements but needs to work on his finishing. Vinicius did not deserve the top three. Caspian, welcome. Caspian, a bold statement. We were kind of, talking about this earlier. Dibu probably superior, better than Filiol at this point. I mean, look at what he's accomplished. It's certainly up there. Certainly up there. Nani K, hope Garnacho moves to a different club for his development. He needs a stable club with a good coach. And let's see what else we have. Amado talking about some of the youngsters that Argentina has for sure. BC United played so bad they got their coach fired. And talking about Simeone, never coach United. Jonathan, welcome, Jonathan, to the live discussion. Thank you so much. Mixed Memorabilia, Garnacho would be better for his career in La Liga. And Janet's saying change of team, manager, etc. sometimes improves a poorly performing player. That's very true. You never know what the new coach can get out of Osvaldo. Question here for you, a little bit off topic, but a question for you, Osvaldo from Varun. What do you think? Libertadores, you think River could overturn the 3-goal deficit?
That's happening tomorrow. River at El Monumental. I see it very, very difficult. But something I learned is never to bet against the odds of Marcelo Gallardo, who against my friends from River Plate, every time I bet against them, I lost. So I don't want to say that they're already out, but it's gonna be very, very difficult. It's gonna be extremely difficult, and I like that. I like that it's gonna be so difficult.
They could have lost by more than 3 in the first match. They really could have lost by more than 3. They had
Yeah.
some opportunities. Minero. All right. Now, there was a question earlier about, when's the team going to get announced for the November World Cup qualifiers? It has to be relatively soon. I would like to think by next Monday or at least by the weekend. Argentina playing 2 games in November. Some of the, the forms of the players, Osvaldo, just kind of talking about this, quickly. And of course, looking at the chat. We spoke about Garnacho's form. Julian Alvarez is another one where he's kind of been hit or miss under Simeone for Atletico. Nico Paz continues to do well. Marco Senesi looks like he's going to be called up. Who do you think gets called up for Argentina in November? Do you think we get any surprises? Do you think maybe certain players get dropped? Well, what do you think happens for the matches there, considering the
Yeah.
form of the players?
Yeah, in the defense line, I would say Marco Senesi is expected to be called up based on some rumors that we've been reading, which is good. It's something positive. If I'm not mistaken, last time he was called up was, bro, maybe I'm wrong, against Italy in the Finalissima, maybe? Or was he called up
No,
later?
the last time he was called up was initially in September, but he got injured. But the last time he
Uh,
got called up and trained with the team, I believe it was I think right before or right after the World Cup. It's been a while.
okay, yeah, his debut and only appearance so far was in June 2022 during
Yeah.
Argentina's 5-0 victory over Estonia. That was his only appearance. Uh, So it's good. It's good to see him. It will be good to see him back. Martinez Cuarta is a player that recently scored for Fiorentina. He's starting to play a little bit more. I don't know if he gets called up, especially with Senesi, with another center back being called up. We'll see. I don't think that. I think that Kuti, Licha, and Otamendi
Even
are gonna be called up. So that's
even Balerdi, Leo Balerdi, he's
yeah.
another one that's been called up. He's been doing well.
Leo Valerdi, he I didn't see the goal, but they played yesterday against with Marseille against PSG, I think, and they lost 3-0, and Valerdi scored an own goal. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that can happen, of course.
yeah.
But I don't know if he's gonna be called up, taking into consideration that a player like Senesi, another center back, is gonna be called up. I think it's kind of a fight between Senesi, Valerdi, and Martinez Cuarta to see who's gonna be that center back. Do you see Germán Petzela being called up again? I know everyone is a big fan here in the chat of Germán Petzela.
I don't know that, and that's the other thing as well, is I think it's going to come down a little bit to what you just mentioned, where I think I don't see Scaloni calling up Senesi, Balerdi, Petzela, Martinez Cuarta, Licha, Cuti, and Otamendi. I think that's overkill. You have about 6, 7, 8 center backs called up. I think Petzela maybe impressed in the last round of qualifying, specifically versus maybe Venezuela. I thought he did relatively well. If he does get called up, and I truly mean this, and I'm not saying this because I dislike Petzela, but I think if he does get called up, this might be the last time that he regularly gets called up for Argentina. I think his form is starting to dip a little bit, and especially when you look at the form of the European-based players, the younger European-based players. So if he does get called up, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I don't see him getting called up for too long either. And after that, it's going to be in March anyways, so it's going to be a while. In regards to that, let me ask you a question then, Osvaldo, and ask everybody as well. Valentin Barco, do you call him up? Considering, Sevilla, he's doing okay, but do you call him up?
It's a player that I particularly like a lot. I think Tagliafico is going to be called up. And then, and I think that if Marcos Acuna is fit, which would River play, he didn't play the first leg because he was...
He might play tomorrow. It's a possibility he plays tomorrow.
Yeah. If he's fit, I think the two left backs are going to be Tagliafico and Acuna. And it's very difficult to see Scaloni maybe taking Barco or even Soler. I think that Scaloni chose in the last double match that he chose Soler over Barco, but I think it was more because of it was right at the last minute, and they needed a player from the Argentina league rather than calling someone from Europe, and that was gonna be more difficult. But I think that Barco right now he's a better player than Soler, and I think it's higher in the consideration of Scaloni. But again, as we were saying, I don't think they're gonna call up more than two left backs.
No, I agree. Unless there's an injury like last time with Acuna, I don't see Soler getting called up either, to be honest. Unless, again, if Acuna is not ready to go, depending, then maybe. But if he is, I don't believe so. Janet, a big thank you, Janet, saying on a very limited data packet here in El Salvador. Thank you so much, Janet, for joining us. A good question here, which I like, or maybe a comment rather, from Ismail. I want Maffeo badly in the team. The right backs. This is a topic that we always come back to every single video, practically. Montiel, Molina, both not particularly playing well. Do we go with Maffeo? Do we go with somebody else? What do you think, Osvaldo?
I haven't really seen much about Maffeo. I know that a lot of people are talking about how he's having really good performances, and I think that here there's this that since Argentina have been playing well with Montiel, with Molina, and we've been winning important trophies. We won the Copa America, we won the World Cup. It's difficult to see other names when you already saw that with Argentina just a couple of months ago they've been playing really well. Why Scaloni? Yes, maybe Montiel is not playing good at Sevilla, or he's not even playing much. Maybe Molina is not playing well with Atletico Madrid. But when you have those players that just a couple of months ago play really well with Argentina, achieve big things with Argentina, how you being a Scaloni, would you go with a player like Maffeo, or would you still give a chance to these players that maybe their team they're just doing bad, and maybe they
play better for the national team?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very good question. It's a good question. Both of them, more often than not, they play well with Argentina, as you said. Would I try Maffeo, or let's say a different right back? Maybe, if given the opportunity. If the match is coming up, I think the team will win, or shouldn't be too much of a problem, possibly. I do think, and I said this previously, and we spoke about this previously, I truly do think that Scaloni will start testing out more players and new players in the starting 11 once Argentina qualifies for the World Cup. After that, I think that's when we're going to start seeing more and more players integrated in the team. Until then, I don't see someone like Maffeo getting called up and starting in place of Montiel or Molina, or Soler or Barco called up and starting in place of Tagliafico or Acuna, for example. Uh, but once Argentina are qualified, then maybe I could possibly see that. But for the time being, maybe not so much. Maybe not.
Yeah, and we'll also have to see if Argentina aims, because being qualified, I think Argentina can get qualified mathematically in one or two match days. But the thing is also to see. I heard some. I think it was Scaloni and even some of the players mentioning how their goal is to lead the standings at the end of the CONMEBOL qualifiers.
Qualified.
So we also have to see that if that's their goal, maybe they will continue playing with the starters that always do.
That's yeah. If that's what they want and they want to keep the chemistry going and building that up, then certainly it's a possibility. Of course, it's certainly a possibility. Um, one more question, and then we'll look at the chat. Maybe I don't want to say not as important, but Emiliano Martinez is going to be back from suspension. Emiliano Martinez, you would like to think maybe Geronimo Rulli is now number 2. Who do you think gets called up, Musso or Benitez?
Yeah.
Or do you think four goalkeepers?
I don't think they're gonna call up 4. I think it doesn't make really sense. I don't see Scaloni taking, for example, Gazzaniga, because the truth is that even though he's having good performances with Girona, yeah, it's gonna be between Musso and Benitez, and that's a good one. I don't know. I really don't know who he's gonna be with. Go with. I mean, Benitez already played with Argentina not so long ago. I think it was before the Copa America. And Musso, I don't know if he ever played.
Yeah, Musso's played a couple of games. Musso was there in 2021 when the team won the Copa America, but he was never really a starter for Argentina. Similar role to Walter Benitez. I just hope, and nothing against anybody, I just hope Scaloni does not go with 4 goalkeepers. I think it's too much. Use 3 and maybe an outfield player, a youngster, maybe give him the chance to train with the team. I don't know, might not be a bad idea. Let's take a look. Varun saying, hey, Varela. Varun wants Varela called up. Why not? Why not? Another deserved name, deserved call up. Mixed Memorabilia saying Emiliano Rulli and Musso. Some comments here about the Club World Cup. Inter Miami are in the Club World Cup. I hear they want Di Maria and Messi. That'd be cool. I don't see Di Maria going, to be honest. I mean, he's there with Benfica at least until the end of the season, so I don't think that will be happening anytime soon. I missed this. Amado Bravado bringing this up. Juliano Simeone starting to be played as a right back for Atletico. I did not know this.
Me neither.
I missed the last match, so I don't know if he tested him out there. It wouldn't surprise me. Simeone is the type of player or the type of coach, excuse me, that would probably do something like that. But it's his son; he knows him very well, so not a bad thing, maybe.
Yeah, Simeone, who is originally a striker, in the Olympic, he plays most of the time
Right
as a right wing or even right midfielder. He shows really good physical qualities in the way that I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of Nico Gonzalez, who can I mean, they're both forwards, but they can also go back and forth. Yeah.
I mean, maybe one for the future. Maybe a wing back similar to Molina. Who knows? Keanu Ruiz, excuse me. Keanu Ruiz, thank you for the support. Hit the like button, everybody. Thank you so much for the support. And Vladislav, excuse me. Atletico are not playing well. That is very true. And they tend to have these moments where they do very, very well, and then they kind of drop in form, and then they go back to doing very well. It's Simeone's team, and he knows them as better than anybody.
Let me ask you something, Roy.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, Roma lost 5-1 against Fiorentina. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you see? And Dybala is not really having good games with Roma. Do you see Dybala being called up?
Oh, that's a very good question. Look, if we're talking strictly, about talent, then yes. But the issue with Dybala, and this is, again, I hate to say it because we say it every single time, You call him up and he gets injured. His form is very worrying. His injury, he's always injured. Um, do you call him up? Yes, because he's a game changer. He's someone that whether you start or bring off the bench, he can have that impact. He can create a goal. He can score a goal. But with that said, do you not call Dybala up and you call somebody else up? Somebody at least on form that is more deserving than Dybala. Um, I think he does get called up if he's not injured. I think Scaloni does call him up, but I would not be surprised if he's not called up, if that makes sense. I don't know what you think. I I wouldn't be surprised if he's not, but I think he does get called up.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I think that Scaloni has some options there with Buonanotte, with even Solé, which is a teammate of Dybala in Rome. He definitely has a lot of options. Even Joe Almada can play as a player behind the number nine. I would really like to see a little bit more of Tio Almada. I think he's gonna be called up, uh, and I really don't see how Dybala is gonna be
How he fits.
called up to me. Yes, yes. Do you know Nico Gonzalez? He's still
He's still
injured.
injured. He didn't play. No, he didn't play for Juventus versus Inter in their 4-4 match, which was a very good match, by the way. But no, he did not play. He wasn't called up, I don't believe. I think he's still out.
But he should be fit for the
Two
qualifiers. I
weeks.
would guess. I don't know.
I would think so. I don't know how much. I don't know his track right now where he's at in his recovery, but I don't think it was too serious. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I think he'll be back. A good point here from Ismael. Lo Celso's probably going to be out too. I mean, if he makes it, it would be very close if he makes it, but he could miss out. So no Lo Celso. Does that keep the door open for Nico Paz, who played very well versus Bolivia, and maybe someone else? Does that help Almada get back into the team, stay with the team, and same for Nico Paz if Lo Celso's not there? You know,
Yeah. No, I think Nico Paz is gonna be called up.
yeah,
After his couple of minutes at the Monumental with Argentina, it wouldn't make sense if he's not called up. Maybe Scaloni is just trying to uh, put different young players so they can have some minutes and stuff. But I think Nico Paz in those couple of minutes earned having more chances with the national team.
yeah. No, I agree. I think Nico Paz gets called up. Played great versus Bolivia, and he's in very good form. He's in good form right now, so he has every reason to be called up. Um,
It's definitely gonna be interesting to see which players are called up and which are gonna be left out. Remember when it was only 23 players those called up. Now it's 26, right?
26, now it's 26. Yeah, the 23 was before the Copa America, but the 2021 Copa America during COVID and all that stuff. Um, it's opening the door for a lot of young players. And
Do you see Valentin Castellanos, for example?
I was just gonna bring this up,
Oh,
Baron. I don't see why not. He's been playing well this season. He scored a lot of goals with the Lazio. Um, I just I don't know because again, like he's another number 9, but you already have Lautaro for that. You already have Julian Alvarez for that. Do you want another one? It's gonna depend. Maybe if Nico Gonzalez is not fit and Scaloni starts with Messi, Lautaro, and Julian like he did versus Bolivia, and then he subs out, let's say Lautaro for Castellanos, maybe. Um, but there's so many players. I mean, you mentioned him. You mentioned Dybala. Is Nico Gonzalez going to be fit? Thiago Almada, does he keep a spot? So many players to pick from.
yeah.
Well, it won't be easy.
Yeah, no, I'm also thinking another name, Garnacho. Garnacho was
Yeah.
called up in the last one, but then he got injured. He
His,
didn't.
yeah,
He
fitness.
wasn't with the team. Do you think he's gonna be called up? I
I,
think
I
he
think
will.
I think Garnacho gets called up. Yes, I think he does. He's especially if Nico Gonzalez is not there. He's the only pure winger that the team has right now. I can't remember just another 100% pure winger other than Garnacho if Nico Gonzalez is not there. I think he gets called up. I think his form is okay. I don't think he's in as bad a form as people are making it out to be.
Yeah,
I think he's okay, and I think he does get called up. But I would like to see him get some minutes and see what he can do, because the pressure is on now. You have someone like Nico Paz coming in, doing well, Almada doing well, different positions, but still they're showing up, and you need Garnacho to do that. And
One
and
more. Let me throw you one more name.
let's go.
Guido Rodriguez.
Oof, Guido Rodriguez. I don't think so. I don't think so. He hasn't been too good for West Ham. I thought he was okay versus United. I don't see it. Especially with Paredes, with Enzo, with the players that Argentina has, the midfielders. You're bringing in more midfielders like Almada or a Nico Paz, and they're using up midfielder spots, and I think that's going to go more towards Paredes and maybe Enzo as the defensive midfielder. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that the surprise in this double match day is gonna be that Alan Varela is gonna be called up and Guido Rodriguez is not gonna be called up.
It's not. So the
I'm
comment that
just saying there. Oh yeah, I actually didn't read it. I swear to God I didn't read it.
I was bringing it up as you said it, as you were saying it.
Yeah. I think that might happen because as you said, Guido Rodriguez, he's been starting a lot with West Ham, but West Ham is doing okay and Guido Rodriguez is doing okay.
But there are better players in that position for Argentina.
Yeah, and thinking towards the future, it would make sense to put Varela over Guido.
Yeah, of course. No, I completely agree with that. Completely agree. We'll see. I can't remember. I don't believe Guido was called up in the last qualifiers. I could be wrong, but for some reason I don't believe he was in the last qualifiers for Argentina. But Varela has been in very good form for several months since last season. Everyone was kind of talking about him getting called up for Argentina, and then Guido got called up for the Copa America. Varela wasn't there. Varela in better form than Guido. Guido not doing too well with Argentina. One last question, maybe this one, Ismail asking, Eki Fernandez over in Saudi Arabia.
I have no idea how he's doing in Saudi Arabia, to be completely honest.
Same for me. I don't see him getting called up, to be honest with you. I don't think he gets called up for these matches.
No, because as we were saying, he competes with a lot of defensive midfielders in Argentina that are really good, playing the highest leagues in Europe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's finished. Who knows? Maybe he plays a couple of years there and then he goes to Europe.
It's a possibility. It's certainly a possibility, for sure. All right. On that note, Osvaldo, any final thoughts? Anything else before we wrap things up?
I'm still mad about Lautaro Martinez 7th position. But it's good. As Messi always said, even when he won it, these are just individual trophies. We're Argentina's fans. We want, of course, Argentinians to win these little trophies, but the most important are the collective ones. And even Lautaro Martinez, after the ceremony, he was interviewed and he thanked the opportunity to be there. It's such an important ceremony, and for him to be selected in those top 10 or so, it's good. It's good for Argentina. It's good for him, and yeah, and I hope that River doesn't come back tomorrow. That's another thing, because if not, I don't know what else they need to do to River Plate and to Marcelo Gallardo to stop winning.
If River makes the comeback tomorrow, that would be massive. That would be absolutely massive. I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself when it comes to that, but yeah, it's gonna be big. And yes, Lautaro deserved better than number 7, top 3 easily in in my opinion. On that note, a big thank you to everybody for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. As always, my name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, joined by Osvaldo Godoy of Mundo Albiceleste.com. A big thank you, everybody. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.